Everybody loves a good deal, and most people need a keyboard these days. So let's try to kill two birds with one stone by trying to find some of the cheapest keyboards you can get on Amazon. I'll be straight up with you. If you're really in the market for a keyboard, you're probably better off just buying something used from Logitech. The K400 is a keyboard that has a mouse and trackpad built into it for just $25, and the K120 is a wired option you can get for $22. And both of these can be found for cheaper used on Facebook or on eBay. Before we get into any of these other options, these are probably the best keyboards for your money. But if you're really strapped for cash, I've got some much more interesting options you can try out. Let's start out with the most normal one. The Innova 69201 Slimline keyboard is about $13 and is probably the most bare bones keyboard I've ever seen. It's made entirely of a fairly flimsy plastic. The cord is a reasonable length at around 4 feet, which should get you to the back of any computer you might be working with. It does have a number pad if you need to make a lot of Excel entries, and all the standard buttons like F1 through F12, delete, insert, page up, page down, and all the rest are included as well. It doesn't have any options for playback, like skipping songs or pausing video, which doesn't come as much of a surprise considering the cost. If you take a close look, you might notice that the Windows key is actually not even officially branded as a Windows key. I'm not sure if this is a money-saving measure by not having to print the image on the key, or if it's actually not even endorsed by the Windows platform, by Microsoft. It does work on Windows computers, but we'll talk about that in a bit. It was just kind of a quirky thing that I noticed. The build quality is nothing special. It's probably below what most people would desire in terms of rigidity and key flex. The plastic visibly and tangibly bends when you're actuating a key, and it feels very spongy. There are two very flimsy plastic legs on the back of the keyboard, which make the keyboard flex even more apparent when they're standing up, like this. The switch membranes provide almost no feedback whatsoever. You can hear them on my mic. If we take apart the keyboard, we can see why the keyboard is so flexible. The entire construction of the board is actually two plastic sheets that just transmit the key actuation signal sandwiched between these two pieces of very flimsy plastic. The only support that these membranes get is this plastic sheet backing the keyboard that is also very flexible. I did try gaming with the Innova keyboard and it was actually fine. It was the best of the three we'll talk about today, and it's just very standard. If you're playing a game that requires a lot of spaceboard use, you'll probably be missing a lot of the support and feedback that you get on nicer gaming keyboards by Logitech or Corsair. I normally use a Corsair K55 for gaming, and I regularly use it on my PC, which I vastly prefer to this while gaming. I find the feedback to be much more satisfying and tactile, and the additional playback features are a handy add-on as well. The next keyboard we're going to talk about is undoubtedly the worst of the bunch. It's this weird, flexible silicone keyboard. I got mine from some off-brand Amazon company. You can find ones just like it for around $6. But there is a reason you're only paying as much as a venti Starbucks for this keyboard, and it's got a whole host of problems. The obvious one is the build quality. Being that it's made from silicone, this lends itself to very low stability and almost no rigidity while typing. In fact, as you're typing, you might actually not press the key that you're intending to because the actual key caps are made also of silicone, so they don't press evenly when you press them with your fingers. So it's just kind of luck if you end up pressing the key. Another thing you might notice right away is this enormous caps lock key taking up a good portion of the left side of the keyboard. That's weird, you might think. Who uses caps lock that much? And I wouldn't blame you for thinking that. However, it's not actually a caps lock key. It's not even a key at all. It's just a big brick. And so it does nothing at all. So do with that information what you will. The fun part of this little trinket is how flexible it is. If you ever need to put a keyboard into your back pocket, nice crinkle sound by the way, it folds up to the size of about a Chipotle burrito, and could feasibly fit into a jacket pocket or easily into a backpack. Apparently it's also waterproof. So we're gonna have to test if that's true. Ooh. This could take a while. You think I should go for cold or hot water? I'm just gonna do cold and see what happens. Oh, it's really cold. All right, that's probably good. Oh no, all my cords are gonna trip me. Oh God, where am I gonna put it? I have not tried this yet, so wish me luck. What should I plug it into? This thing's plugged in, right? Let's just see if it works first of all. Oh shit. Oh, that's the wrong keyboard. Oh, it's on caps lock. See, does nothing. Is it recording? Yes, it is. Okay. So now I'm using this keyboard. You can see works for the most part. Now, if this kills me, this will be really good content. I might get demonetized though, so wish me luck. Well, that's one problem, is that it floats. Well, actually, that's good. If you drop it in water, it will float. Well, it's working so far. Space key works. Yeah, I can say that it makes it much less ergonomic to use. All right, passes that test, I'd say. I'll leave it in there for the remainder of the video, so in case something catches on fire, we'll watch it. It'll be caught on film. I tried gaming on this keyboard and it was absolutely miserable. You never really know if the keys are being pressed or not until you know that they're not by your character not moving where you want them to go. The space bar is in the wrong place, and it's nearly impossible to find a comfortable position for your hand while you're gaming. While doing a typing test, I failed miserably. I got about 1/3 of my normal speed because if I mess up, I don't know where, and it's very hard to find the backspace button to delete my mistakes. It is a truly glorious mess to use. If you've really only got $6 to spend on a keyboard, save it and wait until your next paycheck comes through. Save another $7 and buy the Innova keyboard we just talked about. It's miles better. The last keyboard, I guess you can call it that I bought was this touchpad combo keypad device. I bought these keyboards a long time ago, so it's hard to find the exact devices I bought on Amazon. However, you can get a similar device for around $11. The best part of this little guy is the top part here, which is actually a trackpad. It'll let you move your mouse around the screen, and it's capacitive touch, so it's super responsive. You can even use gestures to scroll down on pages using 2 fingers or click. There are also arrow keys on the left side for navigating on pages, as well as an OK button for selecting. On the right, there are 4 buttons, 2 for volume up and volume down, another one for home, and another one to bring up a menu. Just below those 2 sets of buttons are the left and right click buttons for your mouse. I wish these were in a bit of a more ergonomic place. They're kind of, assuming that you're typing with your thumbs, they're kind of like hard to click. It would be good if they were up here on triggers on the back. Just a note for you manufacturers. Below that, we've got a classic QWERTY keyboard. It's pretty standard. The only downside is that the keys are absolutely tiny. One huge improvement would be adding small bumps to the F and J keys to help orient your fingers like on a normal keyboard. There is no shift key on the right side of the keyboard, just more punctuation buttons. I don't really know why. Seems like there's a lot of punctuation here when I would rather just have another shift key. The device is super light, and the battery in it is absolutely tiny. It doesn't weigh very much. It also doesn't last forever. It charges over USB Type B, and it uses this USB Type A dongle to plug into your device. It works over the 2.4 gigahertz frequency. I haven't noticed any latency with it. It's pretty cool. The one concern, I guess, that I have with this thing is I'm not really sure what you would use it for. It works super well, and it's a cool idea, but there really aren't that many use cases for it. If you're sitting down using a computer, you want a full-size keyboard, not that one of those. It won't work with a TV because there's no channel select, and most TVs won't accept input from a device like this. A console would have a remote already. A laptop, of course, has a keyboard. The only setup I used it for was when we set up a Mac Mini to connect to our TV over HDMI so that we could watch Hulu, the free version of Hulu, with an ad blocker. It worked super well for that, but that setup was, as you can probably guess, very clunky as a whole. Maybe if you were giving a presentation and you had to stand away from your computer, this would work, but anyway, I've given you the information that this thing exists, so get creative and find a good use for it. If you want the perfect option that's sometimes a couple dollars more than all the other options we've talked about, look for the Logitech K400 on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Marketplace is actually an underrated shopping platform now that they offer shipping. Any schmuck in any country can sell you their used stuff, and you pay for shipping, but it's usually really cheap. I bought this K400 for $15 on Facebook, and it works like new. I got it during COVID, and I sanitized it. Bada bing, bada boom. It's a wireless full-size keyboard with a trackpad built into the right side. The keys are super tactile and feel great to use. There are all the standard keys, including arrow keys, besides a number pad, which nobody uses anyway. And the top actually has a bunch of super helpful playback keys. There's also a left click button at the top left of the keyboard with a music icon, a home icon, and a PC lock key. You can also power on or power off, I forget which one it is, your PC from a button right here. It runs off of 2 AA batteries and has a dongle similar to the last keypad thing we talked about. I really like this keyboard, and I would use it with a laptop or operating a PC from across the room, even if you have it hooked up to a TV. If I just wanted to hold a keyboard in my lap while I'm working at a desk, this would be a great option as well. So that's basically it for the budget keyboard lineup. You could find used stock keyboards from Dell or anyone else basically on eBay or Marketplace, but I don't think there was much point in reviewing them since we all used to use those in elementary school anyways. I learned typing on those kinds of keyboards, and they're great. Or you might have used them in the high school computer lab. Those are a good middle ground option. These are truly bottom of the barrel, and if you're penny pinching on a keyboard. To be honest, if your critical expense is on a keyboard, it shouldn't be. If you're building a PC, try to cut costs somewhere else, since a keyboard is something that you'll be using all the time anyways. I hope you enjoyed these quirky keyboards. I had fun making this video. I've never seen devices like this before, so let me know what you thought. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the video and consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed it. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by clicking the links in the description. If you buy that product or any other product through that link, I will get a small commission on the purchase, which doesn't cost you anything additional and helps support the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.